Days of Our Lives preview, a night of shattered glass and shattered dreams. The air in the grand, floral-scented chapel of the Salem Inn was thick with a fragile, glittering hope. After a tumultuous journey of scheming, social climbing, and genuine, hard-won affection, Leo Stark and Javi Hernandez stood clasping hands, their eyes locked in a vow that promised a future far removed from their chaotic pasts. Their wedding night was meant to be the beginning of a quiet chapter, a sanctuary built on laughter and newfound stability. But in Salem, the past is not a ghost, it's a living, breathing entity with a penchant for dramatic entrances. And as the newlyweds prepared to depart for their honeymoon, the past arrived in the form of Dimitri von Leuschner, shattering the crystal calm of their evening like a brick through a stained glass window. The scene that unfolds is one of operatic shock. According to exclusive previews, Dimitri's return is not a somber, reflective one. He appears at the reception's fading edges, a figure thought to be safely imprisoned for his crimes, his presence an impossibility that freezes the very champagne in its flutes. For Leo, the sight of the man he once married in a twisted scheme for wealth and title, a man he ultimately helped send to prison, is a visceral blow. The color drains from his face, his carefully constructed composure crumbling into raw panic. For Javi, the idealist who chose to see the good in Leo, Dimitri is the living embodiment of every doubt, every warning bell he's tried to silence. Their wedding night, a private cocoon of promise, is violently ripped open, becoming a public stage for a reckoning Leo believed was over. But Dimitri's motives are shrouded in ominous mystery. Is he back for revenge against the man who testified against him? Or is there a more twisted, unresolved thread of obsession pulling him toward Leo? The preview suggests a chilling confrontation where Dimitri, with a deceptively calm demeanor, drops a bombshell that suggests Leo's testimony, and perhaps his freedom, was built on a foundation of sand. This isn't just about ruining a party, it's about dismantling the very narrative of Leo's redemption, threatening to pull Javi's newfound trust out from under him. The honeymoon is over before it began, replaced by a cold war of secrets and survival. As this emotional bomb detonates at the Salem Inn, a different kind of awakening is occurring at Salem University Hospital. Theo Carver, who has been in a coma following a tragic accident, is finally stirring. The relief for his family, especially his father Abe, is immeasurable. However, in a classic Days of Our Lives twist, Theo will not be the only one waking up. The previews tease a parallel awakening that will send seismic tremors through several core families. The most compelling theory points towards the long comatose Megan Hathaway, the brilliant and diabolical DiMera scientist. Her return to consciousness would not only reopen the book on her own nefarious plots involving the devil's essence but could also intersect catastrophically with the current power struggles within the DiMera empire, where Stefan and EJ are already engaged in a brittle ceasefire. Another possibility sends a different chill down the spine. Could it be Colin Bedford, the unstable former fling of Allie Horton, whose attack left her traumatized? His awakening would pose a direct and terrifying threat to Allie's safety and her fledgling family with Chanel and little Henry. Or, in a move that would rewrite history, what about the seemingly deceased Dr. Marlena Evans, whose possession by the devil left her in a death-like state? Her awakening would be a miracle for some and a terrifying enigma for others. Regardless of who opens their eyes beside Theo, their return will be a catalyst, throwing carefully balanced lives back into chaos. These two events, Dimitri's vengeful return and the double awakening at the hospital, are not happening in isolation. They are poised to collide in unexpected and devastating ways. Consider the nexus of connections. Leo's mother, the inimitable Diana Colville, has a deep history with both the DiMera and Kyriakis clans. Should Megan wake, Diana could be pulled back into a world she's tried to escape, impacting Leo's crisis. Furthermore, Theo's awakening brings back a figure of moral clarity and deep connection to the Horton and Brady families. A now conscious Theo, with his tech expertise and innate goodness, could become an unexpected asset or target in whatever new game Dimitri or a revived villain is playing. The preview paints a picture of a Salem at a crossroads between celebration and calamity. On one side, we have the human drama of trust and betrayal at the inn, a deeply personal story about whether love can withstand the gravitational pull of a toxic past. Leo, the ultimate survivor, must now decide if he will fall back into old patterns of manipulation or fight honestly for the man he loves. Javi is faced with his ultimate test. Is his love for Leo strong enough to withstand the hurricane of Leo's unresolved history? On the other side, at the hospital, we have the looming specter of legacy and supernatural stakes. An awakening like Megan's would shift the entire landscape of power in Salem, threatening not just individual relationships but the very soul of the town. It raises the stakes from personal betrayal to existential threat. In the coming days, these threads will intertwine. The question hanging over Salem is not just, who woke up? But, what has woken up with them? Has Dimitri awakened Leo's old demons? Has the hospital awakening stirred a new, ancient evil? And in the middle of it all, two newlyweds stand in the wreckage of what should have been their happiest night, proving that in Salem, there is no such thing as a quiet ending, only an intermission before the next storm. The days of their lives, once again, are about to be turned inside out.